Hey there, my name is Jake Adams CPA, and I'm here to save you thousands of dollars on your taxes. Welcome, and thank you so much for sharing this with me and taking the time to be with me. So right now, we're going to jump right into tax entities. What is a business entity? How are they taxed? Why do you want to be a certain entity over another different type of entity? And how are these different entities taxed? All right, so let's jump right into it. Boom, here we go. We are going into PowerPoint. There we go. All right, so we're going to be choosing a business entity. All right, so why is it important to choose an entity? Well, it's important to choose an entity because the entity is how your business is going to be taxed. Your entity is really the business, right? How are you forming the business so that you're going to be able to run your business, and how the business that's being run is going to be taxed? So easiest sort of business to start off is the sole proprietorship. There's really nothing to set up. You can run it through your personal bank account. You can run it through a separate bank account you set up just for yourself, right? So in my case, I'm Jake Adams, so it can be Jake's Accounting, or it can be Adams Accounting. As a sole proprietorship, you can set up a separate business account without doing a DBA. But if you did want to do a DBA, it's actually pretty simple. You can go to your county. So in my case, I live in Alameda County. I can search on Google Alameda County DBA, or doing business as, and it'll tell me how to contact the county and how to get registered as a DBA, or doing business as. Just a couple pieces of paperwork that you'll send into your county. Depending on the pricing of it, could be anywhere from free all the way up to a couple $100s. And then some counties will also ask you to run an ad in a newspaper or some other sort of periodical where you can let people know that you're using the DBA. So like I said, there's only a few forms to fill out. And then you can name the business whatever you want to name yourself as. So if I want to name myself Easy Tax Accounting, I can't do that as a sole proprietor. I have to do that as a DBA. So I have to go and register that name, that I'm Jake Adams doing business as Easy Tax Savings. All right, so the next step that you may want to consider is an LLC, or a limited liability company. So the LLC is not in itself a tax entity. What's going to happen is this is referred to as a pass-through entity. So what's going to happen is if you're a single member LLC, which means you just started out on your own and you're doing everything on your own, the single member LLC is going to pass through just the same way on your taxes as a sole proprietorship would. Or if you're a partnership, if you're, let's say, 50-50 or 20-80 partners with another person, you'll be using the partnership tax return, just the same way as a partner would, except for that it's an LLC entity. Now, you can also choose for your LLC to be taxed as a corporation. And then once you're taxed as a corporation, you can elect to be taxed as an S-corporation. So really the LLC is the most hybrid option, and the option that's going to give you the most amount of flexibility depending on how you want to be taxed and how you want to run your business. The other nice thing about the LLC is you can split up the profit and the loss components. So let me give you an example. Let's say you have two partners and one partner makes a lot of money, right? Let's say $1 million, and they want a huge tax loss. And the other partner, let's say they do a lot of the work in the business, but they don't make a lot of money. So the tax loss really wouldn't help them out. So with an LLC, as a partnership, what you can do is you can assign a tax loss to the partner that needs the tax loss, and a tax gain. So if the business makes profit or is profitable that year, you can assign that to a different member. So you can assign 100% of the tax loss or the tax gain to a certain partner, regardless of their actual membership percentage or how much of the company they actually own, which is really cool. You know, you can also get some legal protections from the LLC. Now, I'm not a lawyer, so I can't talk to you about the benefits of legal protection, but just know that the LLC may give you some legal protections if you're running an LLC as opposed to a sole proprietorship. You're also going to get a lot of these same legal protections with a corporation or an S corporation. Now, there's going to be some state paperwork Some of the states charge as little as $100, a couple $100 to get set up with an LLC. And then you can go to websites like LegalZoom or incorporate.com. That's going to help you set up these corporations or an LLC. You can also go to a paralegal, document preparer. Those are usually a little bit more than online, but they're going to give you more help. Or you can go to your local attorney, and attorneys are going to charge you a little bit more, but they're going to work more one-on-one with you. Make sure you get all the forms filled out. Make sure that you're doing everything properly, and it's just kind of a low risk, right? So that you're hiring a professional to do what is required to get set up. So it's completely up to you as far as how much you want to pay to make sure that you have these documents correctly done. All right, next is we're going to talk about a corporation. So corporations, you may have heard of corporations. Oh, don't do a corporation. Well, the reason is that corporations are double taxed, which means that there's federal corporate income taxes. It goes from 15% to 35%. And then also, depending on your state, you can also get taxed by your state for income taxes. And in some states, they're going to tax on the gross amount, and some states tax on the net amount or the net profit. So make sure that you're familiar with what state you're in, how your state taxes either corporations or LLCs, and make sure you don't get taken advantage of. Now, one thing you're going to want to look at the corporation is fringe benefits. So fringe benefits are huge inside of corporation. These are things like employee meals, employee costs for reimbursement for bicycles or for transportation. You have profit sharing and pension plans. Also, some of the things that if you're on your personal tax return, on your individual tax return, if you have things like charitable gifts or healthcare costs that are reduced or eliminated because of the way that they're taxed on the individual income tax form, right? Those costs are lowered, right? You're reduced. You can't take all of your charitable gifts and sometimes your healthcare costs. So by shifting those over to a corporation, you'll be able to take advantage of all of those deductions. As well as corporation, LLCs, their state paperwork, forms, annual filings. Just make sure you're compliant with all of those things with your corporation. S-Corporation is, again, a pass-through entity. It's a little bit different than the C-Corporation, where the S-Corporation, all of the profits are going to come to you every single year. Your audit risk is drastically reduced. So if you are concerned with the IRS or concerned about audit risk, an S-Corporation is a great way to go, because very few S-Corporations are actually chosen or picked, randomly selected for an IRS audit. And the main benefit for your S-Corporation is the reasonable compensation. Let me give you a quick example here. Let's say that you earn $80,000 in your business, and you can take $50,000 of reasonable compensation. So you'll take $30,000 for distributions, and your distributions are not taxed, Social Security and Medicare. So here's the two examples. Let's say that you're not an S-Corporation, you're just a sole proprietorship. And your sole proprietorship, you made $80,000, the 15.4%, which is Social Security and Medicare, you're looking at about $12,000 in Social Security and Medicare taxes or self-employment taxes. However, if you utilize the S-Corporation and you pay yourself $50,000 in reasonable compensation, and again, you're going to pay Social Security and Medicare on your reasonable compensation because it's wages. So you're looking at about $7,700 in self-employment taxes there. But on the $30,000, that distribution chunk, there's no Social Security and Medicare. So your savings is $4,600 by utilizing these $30,000 as distributions. So in conclusion, you want to start off with a sole proprietorship or a DBA until you're growing at about 200% a year, or you're really interested in getting that limited liability that an LLC, a corporation, or an S-Corporation can give you. Now, don't consider an S-Corporation until you're making more than you would be if you're hired as an employee, because like I said, the reasonable compensation is the biggest benefit for the S-Corporation. Use a corporation if you want to unlock tax breaks that would have been reduced or eliminated, or if you want to save the most for retirement. LLCs and corporations may also give you some legal protection. Again, I'm not a lawyer, so I can't discuss that with you, but make sure you discuss with a lawyer legal protection if that is of concern to you. And then also, if you don't like paperwork, if you don't like compliance, filling out documents once a month, once a year, then the LLC or the corporation is probably not a good choice for you, because there are compliance documentation. A lot of states require articles of information or articles of incorporation. So making sure that you're keeping track of all the documents that are coming through, and then all the documents you need to do to be able to keep your separate legal entity is very important. So I hope that was beneficial for you. And if you have any questions, please let me know. Thanks. All right, so I hope you enjoyed our little primer there on business tax entities and business structure of entities. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me on via email, via Facebook, any way you want to get in contact with me, please let me know. Thanks so much for watching and have a great day.